Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We start with the Ace of Pentacles. This is a gift from the universe. This is a ticket to ride. Yeah. This is position 1 of our spread. It's called the Station. Represents our subjective experience of life right now. Kind of what's on our mind, what is occupying our thoughts, and this is the beginning of a path. This is maybe contemplating the first step on a new path. Okay, this might be even the idea that we're being given this opportunity for a new investment, right? For an investment of time, effort, energy, and maybe money too. But this is the beginning. Okay, this is a new step in a direction that we think will have some physical benefits to it. Okay, I think you're somebody who is ready to begin something new that will bring us a lot of reward. Maybe it's a new job, maybe it's a new relationship, maybe it's a new skill. We're going to start a new sport, we're going to take a new class. We're really in that mode where we want something new. Maybe this is a seed that we're planting in the physical world that we know it's worth planting, it's worth tending to that garden because we're going to get the tomatoes at the end of the season or whatever, right? Maybe it's squash, I don't know, green beans. So I think that you're somebody who is trying to see the consequences, trying to see the long term. Well, if I plant the seed now, what's the work I'll have to do? What are the physical things that sort of have to happen in order for this thing to grow and bring me some rewards, you know? So I think we're sort of contemplating the path. I think that you're being very thoughtful right now. I think that you're being practical, even more than thoughtful, right? We're kind of thinking like, what do I want to achieve? And is this the way to do it? You know, is this just an empty shell of something? Is this just an empty cup? Or is there something real here? Is this something that we know this is going to be nourishing to me? This is going to be, the journey is going to be enjoyable. And also the kind of the rewards are going to be enjoyable. But I think in some ways the journey is the reward. Yeah. So this could be the beginning of a new habit, a new kind of lifestyle change, a new choice we're making in terms of our physical or financial lives. Let's see what's going on here. We're going to put this into a little bit of context. There we have the two. We're taking the next step. Okay, this is a change. This is a proactive effort on your part, that you're doing something to change your life for the better. Here we have another two of wands. We have a Prince of Swords. We have the Moon, makes perfect sense. We have the 5 of Wands, and this is really, now we're out here striving. We're out here reaching for what we want, putting in the work. Okay, striving, toiling, fighting for this. Yeah, putting in the effort is what that is. Over here we have a beautiful 6 of Pentacles, going from an ace to a 2, 5, all the way to the 6. This is a card of success. This is the Hanged Man. This is the 7 of Wands. And finally, a Prince of Wands. So you're doing something that really truly is inspired, okay? That this is something that you really feel is going to benefit your life in a major way. And indeed, I think it is going to. With the 6 of Pentacles, it shows that this is going to pay off. This is going to bring you the benefits that it, I don't know if it promised the benefits, but the benefits that you expect. Okay, going from an ace to a 6, this is like perfection. This is like a peak experience. This is the moment where you realize this was worth it. This is what I thought it was going to be, and I'm so happy, right? It kind of brings a tear to my eye. The interesting thing, though, is that we don't have any water energy right now. Except we have the suggestion of water with the Pisces moon card and, of course, the very watery Hanged Man card. So we have the suggestion of water, but let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. That will be it. We're not going to look at this card until the very end. We'll put Bubo, our mechanical owl, right there on top to guard that card for us. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below in the comment section, okay? Now, as we look around the room, we do see our two major arcana energies. These are the big forces in your life right now. You're doing something that's a little scary. You're doing something that's going to require a lot of sacrifice, that you're going to have to, in some ways, rearrange your life in order to make room for this new thing. Okay? I think that it's kind of a shifting of priorities, because I feel like the Hanged Man is getting a different perspective on what is really meaningful to you. We have fire, 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 fire. A lot of fire. Good fire energy. Okay? Good fire energy. A little bit of air behind us. And of course, we have our earth, earth, and earth. So what do we have mostly? Fire and earth. The spiritual electrical circuit of creation. The art and science of manifestation, right? Fire to earth. The sort of, the impulse and the outcome, the behavior, right? Above to below. Fire to earth. Heaven to earth. Yeah. From intention to implementation, from will to action, from inspiration, from the idea to its fulfillment, its manifestation, its success, and, its rewards. Okay. And the Six of Pentacles is really an awesome card, because it does show that we understand that process of, like, I need the inspiration. I need to have the fire energy. I got to have some sort of impulse to do something, right? And so we kind of, like, we need a trigger. We need some kind of a stimulus in our lives that say, it's time to do something different. It's time to change. It makes me want to do something, right? It's kind of like you go into a dark room and the lights are off. Immediately, that's the trigger. That's the stimulus. And the impulse then is to, like, I want illumination. I want to see where I'm going. I want to not bump into the walls, or I want to find my way to the fridge, you know. And then, of course, we have the craving. We have a desire. That's what we are sort of looking for here, is that water energy. We need that desire. We have to want this. We need to crave that illumination in that dark room, or craving whatever is in the fridge we want. Maybe it's the ice cream, right? That our desire is strong enough to say, okay, I need to act on this impulse. Then, of course, we need the air energy that says, how do I do it? How do I figure out how to bring light into this room so I can see where the refrigerator is? Well, if you're like me, you don't need light. You know where it is, you know. But, you know, we plan that out. We sort of think, okay, I either need to grope along the wall until I find a switch, or I kind of know where it is already through this kind of habit or muscle memory, so I know I just kind of go in and go this way, and there's the switch. Whatever the plan is, right? And then, of course, we need the earth energy, which is us moving our feet, and that's where we are right now. We have the Two of Pentacles. We're ready to move our feet. Okay, so I feel like the water's not here because you have it already. And the Hanged Man is kind of representing, and to me, this feels like it's kind of sort of representing our surrendering to that craving, that desire, that sense of purpose. When I say craving and desire, I don't mean that in a negative way at all. When we crave something, we want it. If we feel it in our soul, and it gives us that motivation to do it. We have to want to do it, right? And so we're surrendering in to that desire, even while we have the moon card up here, which is still water energy, Pisces energy, right? But this is fear. This is saying, I'm going to surrender to this desire, this craving for whatever the rewards are for you. And of course, the 6 is representing those rewards, or the successful completion, or the successful doing of the thing, okay? And I don't think it's just, I'm going to do it once and then I got the reward and I'm done. I feel like this is going to be an ongoing thing for you, because we see the cruise control card at the end, the Prince of Wands, yeah. But the battle station for you, position 2 in our spread, is the 2 of Pentacles, and this is the proactive. This is the taking of the next step. This is the implementation, the real changing of our ways, of our path, of our habits, of kind of where we're moving our feet. And this is the battlefield. This is where our challenge, this is where your quest is right now. And this is about you repeating the thing. It's kind of like we take that first step, we do it once, and okay, we need to make it repeatable. We need to make it enjoyable so that we do it again and again. And I think this is fantastic. I'm very excited for the mystery card. The 2 of Pentacles is saying we need to start doing this, and we need to kind of repeat the process. We need to keep doing something. Once we take that first step, we sort of take the next step. And whether this is, we're practicing something, so maybe it's a habit, maybe we're going to keep doing it again and again, repeating the same thing, relatively speaking, right? Every time we practice, we may be repeating the same things, but we know that we're progressing through our practice. We're developing the skill that we're after. So I don't know if this is a new job, a new kind of career path, a new artistic endeavor, if this is a new physical fitness thing for you, if it's a new financial goal that you've set up. It's kind of like the ace is the beginning of something, but it's also the goal. I sort of look at the Ace of Pentacles as the summit of the mountain, saying that's where I want to get ultimately. Let's say you're trying to play guitar. I want to be best guitar player I could possibly be. I want to fulfill my potential. I want to get to the very highest point of this career, or whatever you're doing. Maybe it's jiu-jitsu, maybe it's cooking, I don't know, maybe it's reading books, writing books, dancing, having a family, whatever it is. You want to get to the very highest point that you can, very highest point of which you are capable, and then some, okay? And to do that, the 2 of Pentacles means that we have to, in some ways, we have to set up these short-term goals. We have this long-term, I want to get to the very top of the mountain, the summit of the mountain. Okay, good. I want to be the best drummer I can be. That's my goal. Okay, how do I do it? Right? Well, we do it by the 2 of Pentacles, by repeating our process, by thinking of what's going on right now, not worrying about the summit of the mountain, but let's worry about what our feet are doing today, right? And that's why we have, indeed, the princes here, because the princes are focused on today, what I'm doing right now. Okay, not focused on the future, not focused on the fears, not focused on the past, right, or the future, but focused on what do I have to do today in order to make the progress to get myself to the end of this path, to succeed at this, to get good at this, or to, get some of the rewards that I wanted, the reason why I want to do this thing. Okay, let's say it's physical fitness goal. Well, I know I want to be this perfect weight. I want to have this kind of like muscle strength or grip strength. I want to be able to run a mile this fast. I want to be able to lift this much weight. That's my goal, big time goal, right? How do I do it? It seems overwhelming sometimes, right? When we think of it that way. That's where we get our fear, because it seems like a dark, scary forest. How do you get through the dark, scary forest? One step at a time, right? And that's where our 2 of Pentacles is. So we need those short-term goals to say, okay, I have these big kind of aspirations, but to get there, it may be that I need to stop with the ice cream a little bit. I need to cut back on the sugar. I need to, maybe I can like set a goal. I'm going to go for a 10-minute walk every day after dinner. Simple stuff, right? We're being proactive. We're doing things. We're implementing new things that will help us to get to that big goal of ours. And I feel like this is the phase that you're in now, is to not get overwhelmed by the fact that I'm at the beginning of a path and I want to get this really wonderful goal at the end, whatever we're aspiring to, right? And we know we want it already. Maybe that's why the water energy isn't here, because right now we're in that phase of sort of taking the air and moving it to the earth energy. Okay? So maybe we have the fire already, which we do see we have the fire. And maybe the water has already been sort of processed, and we know that, yes, this is something I want more than anything. And so now we're trying to just get our feet moving in that right direction day after day in a nice, steady flow so we can make that progress. And I think by breaking our big goal down into what can I do today? What habits can I start? Well, maybe I'll just start that 10-minute walk after work. And that'll really be something proactive that I can begin doing. And eventually, if I like it and it's kind of sort of grows on me, then it will expand and I'll start doing 20-minute walks. Maybe I'll add some weights. I'll start walking with the weights like this, or I'll strap some weights to my backpack. I used to walk around with a bunch of bricks in my backpack because I wanted to exercise more. And I was doing a lot of walking, so everywhere I went, I just have this back. I probably had maybe 20, 30 pounds of bricks in the backpack. But anyway, I need to get back to that sort of thing. Anyway, the Two of Pentacles is sort of the challenge for us right now, is to realize that this doesn't have to be an overwhelming goal. The Ace of Pentacles is saying we want something truly amazing. We know where to begin, and you're going to begin. Right? This is going to be the best. It really is. The card underneath you is the Two of Wands. Okay, the Two of Wands is the sense of power. It's in your soul right now. It's Mars and Aries. To me, this feels like tremendous power, like a surge of energy here that's saying, let's do this, right? It's the card of dominion. It's the card that says, really, the only thing stopping you is you. Okay? There's something inside of your soul that's speaking to you, saying, go, let's do it. What are we waiting for? And so we're trying to take this, the intention, we're sort of setting the intent, we're setting the goal, we're setting the intention, and we're saying, I'm doing it. And we're going to try to make it easy for ourselves, right? So, we're going to like set our alarm, we're going to maybe try to invoke one of these Ulysses contracts, which may be part of our Hanged Man energy. Setting ourselves up for the win. Trying to make it nearly impossible that I can fail. You want to learn how to play guitar, you put your guitar right there, front and center, so as soon as you wake up in the morning, you bump into it. Right? And so, okay, well, it's already here in my hand. Like you go to bed with it in your hand, so you wake up and it's already in your hand, so I'm going to do it. Try to make it as foolproof as possible. Hopefully the mystery card won't be the fool. Because there's something in you that says, I need to do this, and I can do this. It's just a matter of taking the intention, again, fire and earth, right? Taking our intention to change, to have whatever this path is, again, something physical or financial. It's something on the physical plane that's reaching the level where it's not just an intellectual exercise. It's just not just a fantasy or a wish. It's something that you're putting actually into practice with your physical body in some way. Well, maybe it's reading more books. Maybe it's writing a book. It has to go through those phases, right, of the fire, the water, the air, and the earth. The air energy is your Prince of Swords in the background. I think this represents a couple of things. It's a fixed air energy, right? It's Prince of Swords. On the one hand, this is a card that is kind of like stuck in their ways. This is somebody that kind of is always thinking about things in one particular way. And it seems like this is a card that knows something needs to change. Okay? I feel like this card is sometimes we're on the fence about something. That's very hard for me to stop doing what I've always been doing and do something else. Doing something else, right? Doing something different than what I've always done is hard. We know it's hard because we need to have this power in order to do it, right? It's very easy to just keep going down the road we've been on, and this, again, fixed air energy. We get in that one-track mind, and that's kind of what we're doing. This is a card that understands the mental difficulties that we run into when we're trying to change, when we're trying to do something else. Okay, and it doesn't really even have to be a really big, huge change. It's not like I'm trying to change my job or something. Maybe we're not completely changing our life. We're not trying to reinvent ourselves necessarily. But any kind of a change, any kind of a choice we make or an intention that we set that says it's going to require that I don't do the same exact thing that I've been doing over and over and over again already. Like we're trying to break a habit. We're trying to say if I want to get to these physical fitness goals, I have to stop doing what I've been doing every single day, which is not exercising, right? not going for the walk after dinner. So that's already been established. Not walking after dinner is already a pretty well established like circuit for us, as the example anyway. And to break that, we need tremendous effort to say, I'm going to start doing a walk after I eat. And so it's kind of changing course. It's like we're trying to turn a tanker, and it takes a lot of force here. And of course, anything like that brings with it a little bit of the fear of the unknown. This could be the fear of like, this is a really big, dark, scary forest, and I don't want to be in the dark, scary forest. Not knowing what I'm going to encounter, not knowing how I'm going to feel, like it's, the overwhelming nature of this, it seems like it's such a mammoth endeavor. But if we understand it sort of step by step, and we don't have to take these big, huge leaps to get out of the forest, I can say, okay, I just need to focus on one step at a time, one day at a time. And maybe it's just, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna walk around for 2 minutes after I eat today. Okay? A little bit goes a long way. A little bit every day is better than nothing, 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 a big attempt, and then nothing, 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 nothing. Okay? We have to walk a distance every day if we're going to get out of the forest. We can't just sit around for days and lament and do nothing, and then one day I'm just going to run a few miles to get out of the forest, and then I'm going to wait a few days. And no, if we just are consistent, it's kind of the cruise control, which is what we need here with our Prince of Wands at the end. Okay? So I feel that there is a little bit of a fear of uncertainty here, but this is a doorway card. You're on the threshold of a major change in your life. I think that this is a major, significant change. This is a divine doorway. Let's do a divine doorway oracle card. I feel like this is a pretty significant change in your life. I know we said that it doesn't have to be this really big, life-changing, a 180, a reinvention, and it doesn't have to be that. But I think that this is something quite significant for you. Okay, and it's something that you're sort of undertaking a longer journey. Here's your doorway card. Palmistry, fortune and tarot, collective destiny. The palm lines from birth tell your sacred palmistry. Listen to the notes of intuition. Yeah, very often the moon card is a card that says exactly that. We haven't been listening to our intuition, or we have been hearing it call us, and it's calling us into the dark, scary forest. There's something in you that is kind of saying, this is the way to go. This is what you need to do. And it's something that probably is going to require you face one of your fears. Okay. Spirit's asking what is currently out of alignment in your life. There's something that and this is probably the motivation here. This is probably what we're needing to explore. Right, and this is probably why we feel motivated to make this change, because we just feel like there's something something isn't feeling right, okay? The sacred palmistry, right, fortune and tarot, collective destiny, listen to the notes of intuition. The moon card is sort of a new moon energy, so it tells me that we're sort of, we're stepping into this period of darkness where we don't know exactly what we're going to confront, what we're going to have to face. This is something that's going to be challenging us. It's going to be every step, every day, probably something new is going to be in front of you that you're going to have to deal with, right? Parts of yourself, parts of our karma, and some buttons, triggers, weak spots, sore spots, blockages. And that's part of the dark, scary forest, But this is where we hear that voice of the intuition, because I feel like if we knew what was on the other side of this doorway, it would be very easy to just go and do it, and it would be no big deal. But this is a challenge. We may know what's on the other side of the forest. I start here, and the other side of the forest is paradise, the goals that I have, and the summit of the mountain. But what we don't know is the terrain from here to the summit, from here to the other side of the dark, scary forest. Okay? To the exit kind of thing, to the finish line. So we do have to rely on our intuition. That's something inside of you that's telling you this is the right path. Keep doing it. I know you're scared, but keep doing it. Okay. Why am I seeing roosters? This might be a message for someone very specific out there. The roosters. Why the roosters? Yeah. Maybe the roosters are the alarm clock. Yeah, saying we need to get up. We need to get to it. You know, the new dawn is here, and I think that it's really time for action. And I think that you're going to be very happy that you did. We have to trust that intuition, especially when it starts to get kind of scary. This is the card that's really saying we need courage. Okay, position 5, the giant. Okay, shows what's looming up above us, and this is, well, that's the kind of the unknown, right? You know, we're going to cultivate this thing inside of us and outside of us, and we're not really sure what to expect. Because this is a card of fear and uncertainty, it requires courage. Yeah, it requires courage. Now, in the scheme of our elements, you do have the air energy here, which is the only air energy you have. And I think that this is really like, we kind of know how to go about doing the thing, because I feel like there's planning involved in this. This is all that thinking energy. Maybe this is something that's been in your mind for a long time, but we've been sort of unsure about, you know, it's kind of a big undertaking. I don't know what to expect. I don't have that kind of time. I don't know what things I'm going to have to confront, the obstacles. I've already got too much stuff going on in my life. There's a lot of things that are sort of keeping this energy in our heads rather than moving it down to our limbs, and we're moving our feet, right? So I think the intuition, I think the palmistry, I think really the indication here is that you have a lot of psychic ability, and you're being told to kind of tap into that. Right now, I think it's important that if you do divination, you do tarot or meditation or prayer, something like that, to kind of open up your intuition, because maybe you've been feeling lately like your intuition's been blocked. Okay, this is the new moon or the waning moon. It's the narrowing of the psychic aperture, which means that we're taking in less and less of that psychic light, that intuitive energy, the light of the star, the light of the high priestess, right? It's not a lot is getting in. And so I feel like we need to open up our vision here and just take in more of the light, especially if you're in the dark, scary forest, right? What do you need? You need illumination. And what better way than to let our eyes, our psychic eyes, adjust to the darkness? We're seeing differently than we saw during the daytime, of course, but we're still able to navigate in the dark. You know, it's kind of like if I suddenly shut these lights off, I'd be in pitch blackness. And it would take me a minute for my eyes to adjust, and then I could see my way to get around the desk and get out the door. Yeah. I could probably feel my way around too. But I think it's important that we do whatever practices are available to us in order to increase our absorption of that divine light, that divine energy. So kind of right now, Spirit's saying double down on your spiritual practices. Okay, double down on those. Incense is specifically being shown to me for you. I think that's maybe something that is kind of one of your, like one of your implements, one of your tools. Yeah, is the burning of particular incenses. Let's look in the future position, the imago. The way forward, of course, is fire energy. Fire energy, yeah. Because that is the expression of your will, the Five of Wands. Okay, represents the next steps for you. The way forward for you is to assert yourself. The way forward is through doing this thing. It's the five. To me, it's the five-fingered hand, reaching out and doing the thing, doing life, taking part, engaging with life. Yeah, not thinking about it anymore. I've already gone through the intention. I've gone through the craving of it. I'm assuming you have. I'm assuming you've connected with that sense of purpose, like you want it, right? Otherwise, I don't think we would be here. And then you've gone through the sort of planning phases, or the kind of mental work of saying, okay, how is it going to actually play out? What do I have to do? Let me organize it. Okay, well, I'll put the guitar right next to the bed, so when I wake up in the morning, I bang into it, and then I pick it up, and I'm just going to practice. So that's the plan. Short-term kind of goals, day-to-day goals. I have a plan. And then, of course, we take those steps, and what we have to do is continue to take those steps. This is Saturn in Leo, this energy. You've got you've got quite a bit of Leo energy here. I would probably watch the Leo reading if I were you. This is a card of striving, of fighting, of asserting yourself, of doing. Okay, of doing. Struggling, really, it's a card of fighting, but it doesn't mean fighting with other people necessarily. It means fighting with ourselves. Fighting against that part of me that just wants to stay in bed. Fighting against that part of you that does not want to do it, right? But you want to do it because you're here, you've set the intention, you've made the plan, and you understand you're going to implement these positive things to sort of get to the goal. We have to wrestle with ourselves in order to do it, and it's really sheer willpower. Okay. This is for someone specific. You broke something recently, and you feel really bad about it, and you have a hard time forgiving yourself for breaking something. It's okay. It's okay. The other person, or if it was yours, or it belonged to somebody else, right? It's okay. No hard feelings. Okay. So the Five of Wands is the next steps for you, anyway, to set yourself up for the win as best you can, and then do it. And have the willpower to get up and do it. It doesn't matter if you do it for an hour today or just a minute or 5 minutes today, but do it. Okay? Get started on it. Assign yourself some period of time that says, I'm going to do it 5 minutes today, whatever it is, and make it easy for you. Make it almost foolproof for yourself. But it will still be struggle. You will still have to fight with yourself. Because this is something big. I feel like this is a rather life-changing quest that you're beginning. Yeah. Let's talk about the Path of the Serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. The readings are free. And it helps out the channel. Every subscription really helps to kind of boost the channel, and I really do appreciate that. So your general energy, position 7, is your persona. This is the objective view of yourself. Subjectively, you're kind of thinking, this is the way you see yourself, right? Subject. This is the subjective experience. This is the beginning of a path. I have a really big goal, right? I have a big goal, and I've not yet really started it so much. Maybe you have, but we're still kind of at the beginning. Objectively, this is objective success. This is kind of like every day is a win. Yeah, to me this feels like, it doesn't feel like this is us getting to the goal or getting to the end or getting to the summit of the mountain. This feels like every day on the way to the summit of the mountain, every day is a win. Every time we successfully execute a habit or an intention, we get the reward, right? That we have the stimulus or the trigger, we have the craving or the desire or the purpose, the kind of the need to do it, the reason why we're doing it, And of course, then we have the thought process, then we have the action coming at our feet, and we're walking the walk, and then we get the satisfaction, we get the reward of doing the thing that day. To me, this is a peak experience. To me, this is us being in the flow state. This is us in this kind of harmony. This is success after a struggle. So if we struggle with ourselves and we force ourselves to do it, guess what? We're going to feel better because we're going to have taken a big step, even in a 5-minute walk after dinner. That's going to be a huge step in the right direction for what you're trying to achieve in your life. And maybe this is physical, maybe this is financial. It doesn't matter really what it is. This is a card of success. This is the card of being very, very satisfied, very emotionally rewarded for having successfully done what you've set out to do in this short-term, daily kind of thing. Okay, the daily kind of, the daily grind of what this is for you. Yeah. Because the thing is, you're not trusting just the thoughts here. You're testing them by putting them into action. Okay? This stays in your head. We don't know if it's going to work or not. And maybe that's part of the fear. It's like, yeah, I have this plan in my head, but I'm on the fence with it because I don't know if it's really going to work. Well, we're not going to know until we go. This is a big, dark doorway of uncertainty. We're not going to know till we go. Okay, you, in essence, you are that solar disk at the bottom of this card that's bringing the illumination. Once you enter into that dark, scary forest, your eyes are going to adjust, your psychic energy is going to kick in, and you're going to see what's there. It's not going to look the same as if it were illuminated by the daylight, but the daylight would mean that, yeah, you're already there, and it's already very familiar. You're stepping into the unfamiliar territory. Yeah, and you are succeeding. And so you need to try to look at yourself this way. That's why this card's the persona. To me, it feels like this is the way the rest of us see you. It may not be the way you see yourself. You may see yourself as like, I haven't done anything yet, right? I barely started this path. I don't even know what I'm doing, right? But the rest of us can look at you and see like, you're doing it. You're succeeding. Every day is a win. Even when we feel like we kind of lost to ourselves, or we were confronted with all this fear and we didn't do as much as we thought we should have, we need to be able to look at ourselves objectively. This is the objective view of you, okay? The way other people might see you, in other words, yeah? One day I'll write a book about all the positions of the dove and serpent spread. It is based on the Celtic cross, obviously, but it's kind of my own. It's been evolving on its own, I guess. Over the years that we've been doing this spread here on this channel. I think 3 years, maybe almost 3.5 years now. 3.25, I guess. But we need to be able to look at ourselves this way and say, how can I set myself up for the win? How can I really feel good about this on a daily basis? Because that's going to keep me motivated. Then I'm going to be excited to get up and do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a struggle too. Tomorrow's going to say, I don't want to get out of bed. But it's going to get easier and easier and easier as we go, because we're going to keep getting these rewards on that daily basis. So tomorrow it's going to be slightly easier for you to get up and practice your guitar, or write in your journal. Maybe this is about journaling. Maybe this is about, I don't know, some kind of physical activity, right? It's going to get slightly easier every day because of the rewards, but it's going to get slightly harder every day depending on your condition. Your sleep quality, what you've been eating, what your stress level is, what your relationships are like, how much we're connected with that purpose. And so we have all the rewards. I did it yesterday, and that was a win, right? So that's increasing our likelihood of doing it. But then we have these other factors of life that are decreasing our likelihood of doing it again. Our food, our sleep, our water intake, you know what I mean? Our intentional movement, our stress reduction, our relationships, and our sense of purpose. All of those factors can either help or hinder our likelihood. So what we want to do is then set our lives up in other areas. This is all about alignment and harmony and resonance, right? If I'm trying to, achieve my physical fitness goals. And so my daily sort of habit that I'm trying to do is every day I want to ride this recumbent bike for 10 minutes. Ride the recumbent bike, go hard 10 minutes. That's a simple goal, right? Well, if I'm not sleeping very well, and I'm not eating very well, and my relationships are stressful, my life is stressful, and I've kind of forgotten why I even care about riding the stupid bike, then I'm probably not going to do it. Even on those days where I do it, and I feel, oh, that was great. I feel rewarded. Tomorrow's going to be awesome. I still have all these other things in my life that are not helping me. So this card is all about those pillars of health and well-being. How do we support ourselves in these efforts? Whatever you're trying to do in life, you need to set up the other things in your life to help support that goal. Your relationships, you want them to be supportive of the goal, or at least not drawing energy away from you, making it less likely for you to do the daily thing. And of course, sleep and your food and your exercise and your stress reduction and staying connected with that sense of purpose. Okay, so this card is very, very important. The Hanged Man, in your environment, in the relationships, the position of the shadow is interesting too. Because for one thing, these two positions in the dove and serpent spread are very well connected. This is saying that for far too long, you've sacrificed your goal or sacrificed what you truly wanted, and you're not doing that anymore. So it's kind of like the Two of Wands is getting angry, right? I'm getting kind of mad. I'm ready to like rage against my own inertia, you know. And I feel like we're turning the hanged man around. I feel like we're emerging from some sort of inactivity, and we're saying, "Here I am. This is now the fire dancer. This is you know, this is somebody who looks like the Dave Matthews their logo, right? Is the fire dancer now instead of the hanged man." Saying, well, I'll do it tomorrow, or, you know, sacrificing my own well-being, sacrificing this goal that you really, really want. You're not doing that anymore. We're turning this around. We're getting mad. We're getting lit up. We're getting motivated. We're getting enthused, right? I think the hanged man in this position is also talking about other things, the relationships with things. It could be a card of sacrifice, right? So it could be that in the context of our Six of Pentacles, what are some things that you need to sacrifice in your life in order to support you to do this? Are there other habits that are hindering you or making it less likely that you're going to do this thing that you want to do? Are there certain things you're eating, certain ways that you're sleeping, you know, your sleep habits, your eating habits, your moving habits, relationships? Is there's too much stress? What is it that we have to let go of? What is it that we have to kind of surrender or give up or sacrifice? You know, so I really liked pop. Drank a lot of soda pop. Part of my my health goals said, I've got to give it up. I've got to make a sacrifice. I love it. Every day I crave it, right? But I try to say, no, I can't do it because it's not supporting the other goals that I have in life. And it's a very silly example, but, you know, it's a real thing. Yeah. And so we have to identify those things that I've got to stop doing in order to support this. I want to start, you know, meditating more in the mornings. I want to start practicing drums again. Okay, maybe I have to sacrifice other things, cut down on my TV time maybe, which it isn't very much as it is. But understand how some of these other factors might be, you know, making it less likely that I'll do the things I really truly want to do. What things do we have to sacrifice? What things do we have to give up? What things do we really have to say no to? And in some ways, the Two of Wands is a card that does say no. It's a big red X, right? It says no. Okay, no longer am I going to sacrifice what I want for my soul for the sake of all these other things. Now I have to sacrifice some of these other things for the sake of what this higher aspiration is for me. Okay, so let's say I've been sacrificing my meditation practice so I could drink soda pop and watch TV. What? You know, trust me, it's a real thing. And so now it's kind of like that big red X that says, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Now I'm going to make the sacrifices that I should be willing to make, that I should be already making, getting rid of some of that TV time and soda pop so that I can have that meditation time. Okay, just as an example. Anyway, the Seven of Wands is in the position of your fear, worry, and concern. Position 9 is the specter. This is the anxiety, right? That we feel like we've bitten off more than we can chew. This is a card of two great odds against us. Okay, this is the card that kind of says there is too much that is opposition. Yeah, but this is Mars in Leo, another Leo card, right? We have Mars and Aries down here, and we have Mars in Leo here. This is saying that I have the confidence to fight against, no matter how great the odds are, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm not going to give up. Because that's me going back into this hanged man position, this kind of woe is me, I'm not going to do it, maybe tomorrow, or, you know, the sadness of it, right? We're saying, no, we're getting motivated. I think that's why we don't have the water energy here, because we have this desire, and I think really the craving now is sort of being represented by some of the fire energy, which is kind of strange, right? Because usually you think of desire and love and emotion and purpose and connection and the kind of why I'm doing something seems to be tied up with the water element or the cups of the tarot, right? But in this case, I kind of feel like this fire energy is really what's going on. This fire energy is kind of like saying, I'm mad and I'm not going to take it anymore. You know, I'm not gonna deny myself my own health, well-being, fulfillment, happiness. Yeah, this is so good. And I think we don't want that water energy because we don't want to get sad. We don't want to get demotivated. We don't want to sink into our feelings right now. We're trying to get pumped up. I feel like this is a really pumped up kind of vibe for you right now. And well, Sagittarius, I think it's right up your alley. Yeah. And the Seven of Wands, as we know, is I'm gonna confront this obstacle as much as I have to until I get it done. There's no other way around it. I'm gonna stay here until I get through the door. If it takes me all day, takes me all year, I'm gonna get through the door. It's this Mars in Leo. It's kind of like this, and sometimes it's even to our own detriment. I'm not gonna back down. You know? And so it's this kind of energy that is really useful for you right now. But it's in the position of your fear or your anxiety, because I think that in some ways we feel like this is a really big endeavor, and I don't know that I'm up to the task. It feels like it's kind of a David and Goliath situation. The odds are against me. This is a really huge mountain, and I want to get all the way to the top. It kind of reminds us, though, how do we get to the top of the mountain? One step at a time. How do we get to the other side of the dark, scary forest? How do you eat the elephant, right? One bite at a time. And that's this card. It's kind of saying, I'm just going to keep chiseling away at something and struggling, because it's worth it. Because you love yourself enough to say, I'm done denying myself what I really want or what I really need or whatever this is for you. I wish I knew what this was for you. This is the card really that says we're protecting what matters most. Yeah, we're defending against anything that may try to harm. This is, in some ways, this is how I feel about my family. You know, when we're out and about in the world, it's like I will protect my family at all costs. There's nothing that I would keep getting up, no matter how many times I get knocked down onto the mat. I will keep getting up because of this. Okay, and it's that kind of a commitment, that kind of a love that you have for this path. Maybe this is a family thing, whatever that Ace of Pentacles is for you. Okay, it's time to do it. I'm gonna start crying here. This is amazing. I really like the final card here, position 10, the Destiny card. This is steady and consistent progress. This is a fixed fire energy. This is a Leo power card. Again, you got a lot of Leo here. Yeah, maybe it's kind of like I got a lot of heart, but not the watery heart, but like a real yang kind of energy. Yeah. This is the cruise control. This is saying I need to be consistent. This is not a Knight of Wands, which is I'll just take one big leap and then I'll do nothing for a year. No, it's saying I'm going to make these little leaps every single friggin' day. And that's how I'm going to get to the top of this mountain. So we may not be bigger or stronger or faster than anybody else, but we've got more heart. We've got more commitment. And we know it's steady as she goes. You know, and I think this is us kind of staying in the flow state. Because again, it's not that big kind of surge of energy like a Knight of Wands. It's a fixed fire energy, like a Prince of Wands, right? That is kind of on the cruise control. And cruise control is like, you set the cruise control in your car. It's going to keep you at 65 miles an hour or whatever it is, 55 around here. If you're going downhill, right, the engine's going to back off the RPMs a little bit because you don't want to go too fast. If you're trying to go 55 miles an hour, why are you going to stay on the gas going downhill? You're going to be like 80 miles an hour. You're going to get a ticket. You don't want a ticket. You don't want to burn your car out, waste gas. So what does it? The engine backs off. The computer backs off the throttle. And then, of course, you're going uphill, trying to get 55 miles an hour. You're going to have to give it a little bit more oomph, right? The computer's going to tell the engine to, let's increase the output here. And so that's the cruise control, and that is the effort. We don't need to go full intensity, just an amazing, like I'm going to go to the gym today, I'm going to be there for 8 hours, and I'm going to work as hard as I've ever worked at the gym, full intensity, and then I'm not going to do it for 6 months. It's terrible. Okay, so I did 8 hours of a really good workout. Maybe I did it 1 day a week, and then I was just spent. Or I can go there, for 1 or 1.5 hours or 2 hours every day, 7 days a week, right? And guess what? I put in way more time. I've made way more progress. Slow and steady really does win the race here. Okay, these huge bursts of energy. And it's just like the hare and the rabbit, right? The hare has these big bursts of energy and it takes a nap. The turtle's just plugging along. The tortoise is plugging along, right? And that's this card. Knowing kind of that. To me, this is that cruise control. Trying to maintain a consistent effort, And some days we're going to have to push harder. Some days we can back off a little bit. But we're being consistent, and we know ourselves, and our brain, our computer, is going to send that signal that says, today we got to put in a little more. Today I got to work a little bit harder. And then the next day might be, okay, today I can back off a little bit. Because if I go too hard today, I'm going to wear myself out. I'm not going to do it. Okay? So we just want to make sure that kind of at the end of the week or the end of the year or the month, that we're making the progress we want to make. Let's look at our mystery card. This reading is getting long. Oh dear. I apologize. Mystery card, position 11, the guide, represents the voice of the silence within you. What is your soul telling you right now? To me, it feels like it's going to be a card that says go. It's going to be like an Ace of Wands. It's going to be maybe an Aries energy, the Emperor. Maybe it's going to be your superpower card, the Art or Temperance card. Maybe it's going to be the Sun, the Illumination. Maybe it's going to be some water, or the Empress, or the High Priestess. Those are my choices. If you have a choice or a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's take a look. Well, it's the Five of Pentacles. And the Five of Pentacles is the card that says go. It may not be comfortable, but go. The only way, right? Fire and earth, 5 and 5. We have the 2 and 2, fire and earth. Now we have the 5 and 5, fire and earth, to get you to the 6. The only way to get to the 6 is to go through the 5s. Because you got to do the work. We can't just jump from the idea to then the perfect outcome or the perfect day or that peak experience or that success. We got to do the work. And when we talk about the 6 of Pentacles being those things in life that we need also to support us, right? The sleep and the diet and the exercise, stress reduction, the relationships and the sense of purpose. Those are all things that will rally around us. They cluster around us to exalt us, okay? And this is the card of saying, I need to find out what those things are. So Spirit is telling you with the 5, right? 5 is kind of like a hand, again, the hand, right? 5-fingered hand. But the 5 of Pentacles is the one that's waving at you, saying, hey, excuse me, look over here. This is where you need to put in the work. This is where something in your life might be draining your energy, draining your vitality. Okay? And some of these things we can change, some of them we can't. We're out here trying to travel somewhere. I can't change the fact that I've got a bum leg, that I'm on crutches. I can't change the fact that it's raining or snowing outside, that it's cold. Right? Those are some things that maybe I can't change, but I can change who I'm walking with. You know, I can make sure that this person, we've got, you know, we're here supporting each other, rallying for each other. Okay? And so usually this is the card in the physical realm that says, hey, there's something you need to pay attention to because something isn't working in your favor the way it could be. Okay? So look around at something in your life that isn't supporting you the way it should be, something that is making it less likely for you to do this thing. Doesn't mean we have to get rid of that thing from our lives. Doesn't mean we have to tell them, well, how dare you not support me? At least it needs to be neutral. If it's a waste of time, for me, it's TV time and soda pop, right? And I realize, hey, that's what Spirit would be kind of waving, hey, look over here. This is why, this is one factor anyway. One factor that's making it more difficult for you to do what you want to do. And now I don't watch much TV anymore, and I'm not drinking any soda pop. Still love it, but I don't drink it for many reasons, not just because it's, you know, taking too much of my time or whatever, but I feel like it was unhealthy for me. I have nothing against it. I enjoy it. I wish I could still drink it, but it doesn't really, it does something weird to my body. I don't know. But anyway, no, I'm not preaching against the soda pop. Still love soda pop. But this is that 5 of Pentacles that's saying, look, it's going to be a difficult thing. You're out here doing the uncomfortable work. This is you going through the dark, scary forest, like literally walking through it. It kind of looks that way, doesn't it? It looks like you're walking through a dark, scary forest. And I think this is the way forward for you. This is what your soul is trying to tell you. This is the voice of the silence within you. And we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There is a link down below. New readings for Sagittarius on Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.